The 1990s were a time of cultural upheaval, and in the midst of it all, a sound emerged from the Pacific Northwest that would change music forever. Grunge, a raw, emotional, and unapologetic blend of punk rock and heavy metal, was more than just a genre. It was the anthem of a disillusioned generation. To understand grunge, we first need to understand its roots. Seattle in the late 1980s wasn't exactly a cultural hub. It was rainy, isolated, and far removed from the glitz of Los Angeles or the art scenes of New York. But that isolation bred something unique, a tight-knit music community where bands supported each other rather than competing. The early seeds of grunge were planted by bands like Green River and the Melvins. They combined the aggression of punk with the heavy, sludgy riffs of Black Sabbath. It wasn't polished or commercial, it was raw, loud, and deeply personal. One of the key players in grunge's rise was Sub Pop Records, a small independent label founded by Bruce Pavitt and Jonathan Poneman. Sub Pop wasn't just a record label, it was a movement. They embraced the gritty aesthetic of Seattle and helped craft the image of grunge with their iconic Sub Pop Singles Club. In 1988, Sub Pop released a compilation album called Sub Pop 200, showcasing local talent. This album marked the unofficial start of grunge as a defined genre. It captured the essence of a scene bubbling just below the surface. While bands like Soundgarden and Mudhoney had been making noise, it was Nirvana that brought grunge into the mainstream. In 1991, their album Nevermind dropped like a bomb. Fueled by the breakout single Smells Like Teen Spirit, the album dethroned Michael Jackson's Dangerous on the charts. Overnight, Nirvana became the voice of a generation disillusioned by materialism and the polished pop of the 80s. Kurt Cobain, with his raspy voice and unkempt look, became an unlikely icon, embodying the pain and frustration of the youth. Grunge wasn't just about the music, it was a lifestyle. The fashion mirrored the music's ethos, simple, unpretentious, and a rejection of societal norms. Flannel shirts, thrift store finds, and Doc Martens became the uniform of a subculture that valued authenticity over appearance. Even as grunge went mainstream, its core remained rooted in the working-class ethos of Seattle. It was anti-glam, anti-corporate, and deeply personal. Nirvana may have opened the floodgates, but they weren't alone. Pearl Jam's debut album 10 became a massive success, blending grunge with a more classic rock sound. Eddie Vedder's soulful voice and introspective lyrics struck a chord with millions. Alice in Chains brought a darker, more metal-infused edge to the scene, while Soundgarden, led by Chris Cornell's powerful vocals, pushed grunge's boundaries with their experimental approach. Together, these bands defined the Seattle sound. But grunge's meteoric rise came with its own set of challenges. The music industry commodified the scene, turning it into a trend, and the pressure to maintain authenticity weighed heavily on many artists. The tragic death of Kurt Cobain in 1994 marked the beginning of the end for grunge. His passing was a devastating blow, symbolizing the loss of a movement that had always resisted the spotlight. Though its heyday was gone before it was here, the legacy of grunge resonates on. Its influence can be heard in alternative rock, indie, and even pop music today. More importantly, it showed that music doesn't need to be perfect or polished to resonate. It just needs to be real. Grunge wasn't just a sound, it was a feeling, a rebellion, and a moment in time that will never be forgotten. It gave a voice to the voiceless and proved that out of the rain and gloom, something truly extraordinary can grow. Thanks for watching another episode of Culture Chronicles. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell icon. Let us know, which part of American culture do you want to see next?